All right. I'm coming. I'm coming. What's up? Good morning. I'm looking for good memes right now. That's all I'm doing. I'm trolling for memes, trolling for memes. Trolling for some memes. Let's see who got a good one. Nobody ain't got no good memes this morning yet. So it was good this morning. Oh well. I guess I'll stop looking. Nobody ain't doing shit this morning. Ain't even nothing on fucking Instagram. So. Let's get this morning started. I'm trying to sample some of my own stuff actually. But this was a piece that broke off like over a month ago. It just broke off the plant, and I just decided to go ahead and dry it out anyway. Even though it was like young, the youngins still see what they're gonna do. You know what? This shit don't taste too bad. Mm, that's not bad at all. You can definitely tell it's not mature though, but God, God, oh shit! Wow. Okay. Shit. All right. So I'm still working on this commission. It's not a lot left to do on it, so I'll probably be here for a couple hours. Um, Later today, I can probably actually print out some photos for my own work. I can do at least 4 paintings for myself. Oh, 5 paintings. I keep forgetting about that one little painting back there of Jess. So yeah, fuck. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I can work on. Um, like I said, I really want to get this done first, but there's not too much more. So, alright, first of all, let's see what's on YouTube this morning.
This is my sport. Louis Banks.
All over the place. You're a psychiatrist, and you're author of a theory. Here's what she's saying. First of all, white people are dying out. Into the next century, everybody on Earth may be of color. And we're scared of it. Already we're a minority. Did you know that? I'll guess 25% of us are white, maybe less than that. And that's the reason we're racist. We're not only afraid of dying out, but we're also jealous because we have no vote. You're laughing. How come we spend so much time in the sun trying to get brown?
Laugh it up.
Can't make a baby of color. And that's the reason for racism and lynching. And how do you explain? You believe we're racist? No, we're not racist.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. No, we're not. Yes, we are.
What is this, an accident that all the cities are becoming black and blacker while the outer reaches of major metropolitan whiter and whiter? That's an accident? Fuck.
Hmm?
Well, you got an elevator and you're the only white person on the elevator. How do you feel? What'd she say? What'd she say? Frightened, she said? Oh, she's scared of elevators. Okay, here we go. Frances Cress Welsing, M.D. You are a Washington, D.C.-based psychiatrist, and you're author of the Cress, your middle name, you should say, Theory of Color Confrontation and Racism. You call racism white supremacy. To be sure, a provocative and controversial theory on skin color and oppression. Well, I'm ready. So is this mostly but not exclusively white audience. Let them have it.
Dr. Frances Cress Welsing.
Boy, oh boy, you need an expert to get out of your speech?
No, now, let me just give you a little background. This paper was written approximately in 1969 and presented in 1970. It was written for a group of black psychiatrists who were looking at racism.
Yeah.
It was also written because as a psychiatrist and working in a hospital trying to treat black people and white people, but recognizing that the majority of the problems that black patients had in psychiatric hospitals, when you took a history, you would run smack into racism. So I knew I had to understand racism to help solve the mental health problems of black people. So out of my brain computer, putting in the question, why? Why do we see this behavior? Why have we seen it for hundreds of years? So I thought about these two things, basically two facts. That even though the population says that people of color are minorities, that it is the white population that is the minority on the planet.
That's the reality.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
That in spite of the fact that black people, non-white people have heard over and over again, you're genetically inferior because you are non-white. That in reality, white skin is a genetic recessive status, not as said by Frances Welsing. You see, meaning that if
you and I were to have a baby, the baby would have color. You make the contribution and I don't.
That white plus colored. Well, wait a minute. It's not Frances Welsing that is concerned about the disappearance of white. Bill Wattenberg just wrote a book, The Birth Dearth. There have been multiple articles in the newspaper talking about the decline of Western populations.
And here's the Washington Post just to name. We are a depopulation bomb, the withering of the this was the percentage of the West population in 1900, the turn of this century. About 30%. This world will be less than 10% in the year 2075. Here's where we are about today, 15. So we're not having babies.
So whites are not having babies.
Flanagan has the solution for your best sleep yet. Get a free adjustable base with the purchase of select mattresses.
And there is the concern about white genetic annihilation. In other words, I look at, this is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday. And people will say, well, here's a man who talked about love. why was he killed? And I say that the deeper logic is, what if all black and white people and non-white people and white people love? What would happen to white people? White would disappear. You see, this mixed all of the people on the planet up together.
If race didn't matter, or if color didn't matter, it follows with the jet planes.
No, I'm not saying if it didn't matter. I'm saying that indeed if there was a mingling of all of the people.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, fine. Absence of prejudice.
The ability, no, wait, don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we mixed all of the people presently on the planet, stirred them up,
the white freckle-faced people would be gone.
Genetic recessive status would disappear. And that if I did a survey and everybody didn't have to, face anybody, if I said how many people who are white want their children to be white, want their grandchildren to be white, want their great-grandchildren to be white, want their great-great-grandchildren to be white. And I've gone all over the country in England and asked this question. Yeah. Everybody wants the children and the generations to remain white. Yeah. If you do, then you have to do something to make sure that that happens. And I say that what the thing is that is done, and particularly in relationship to black non-whites, because we have the greatest genetic potential to cause white race annihilation.
Black.
Because we,
most color.
Right, we have this ability to produce melanin pigment. We have more of it than anybody else. And so the most pressure is on black people. As a matter of fact, the black people learn, all non-white people over the world learn. If you're black, stay back. If you're yellow, you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, mellow, white, right. I can go to England and the people can say the same thing. Doesn't matter whether if you go to the Philippines. Because there has been a confrontation of brown with white. Everybody knows the more pigment you have, the more pressure that is on you.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand why. I said, why is the purpose of white genetic survival?
Right. And you're saying that blacks have no similar hidden subconscious anxiety about their blackness being undermined by the presence of white?
We don't have that fear. And I think that this is something that is not understood. You see, in other words, if I don't worry about it, as a matter of fact, under white supremacy, the non-white people try to get lighter. You see, because the less pigment you have, the less threat you are to white, and so the greater opportunity that you have.
Yeah. The mass inability of whites to live and attend school in the presence of non-whites, manifested by the patterns of black and white housing and education throughout this country, and indeed throughout the world, is seen, according to your thesis, in terms of the color confrontation thesis, as the apparent total psychological discomfort experienced by whites in situations in which they daily face their color inadequacy when they confront their neighbors of color.
I predicted. Look, I wrote that in 1970. I said you cannot have integrated housing. You cannot have integrated schools.
You still believe that?
The evidence. I always look at the evidence. If Mr. Black and Mr. White live next door to each other, they have the same job, the same income, the same car, the same furniture. Yeah. They both walk out of the house in the morning. Good morning, Mr. Black. Good morning, Mr. White. Yeah. But Mr. White's still looking, but you got something that I don't have.
You're saying he's saying that subconsciously.
Saying, right.
All right, we'll give you a chance in just a moment.
Joe Biden will be a great president because he passes the moral test of government, cares about people.
The moral test of government? What is that?
Wait a minute.
No, wait a minute.
Let's look at
They're nice people. You're really going to like them, I promise you. Once in a while, a couple of them stop before they come up here, and you got to keep them in.
Let's look at this.
Go ahead, look at it.
Very fortunately.
Now, let me just understand this. See, the reason they're groaning is, that's an awful bad rap to take. Let me just arrogantly try and reword what I think you're saying. Now, don't get crazy. Let me say it.
Please,
Mr. White is looking at Mr. Black, and he's not consciously saying, don't you dare.
Not consciously.
So it is under.
Not consciously. We could go on for 3 hours. Not consciously.
All right.
Okay. I am saying that this behavior is at the subconscious level, and there's a lot of evidence. For example, just on Saturday, the New York Times had an article talking about the percentage of people who want a tan. 66%. I have the article if anybody wants to look at it later. 66% of white adults think they look better with a tan. 70% of white adolescents think they look better with the tan. What do white people? Oh, I look so pale. Now, this is not something that Frances Welsing is putting on people. White females even say their ideal mate is who? Tall, dark, and handsome. Now, Phil,
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Just a minute. That whites do indeed desire to have colored skin can be seen by anyone at the very first signs of spring or summer, when they begin to strip off their clothes as many pieces as the law will allow, often permitting their skins to be burned severely in an attempt to add some color to their white, pale, colorless bodies, rendering them so vulnerable to the dreaded skin cancer in the process. Most cosmetics also are seen as an attempt to add color to their skin. Such coloring, makeup, is even now being provided for the white male. Well, guess who has you know what on at this moment? And if you don't mind my saying so, I do. I put it on myself. I don't go to makeup. I have a shine on my nose I've got to take. But I feel better for a little white. And I got the whitest skin in the whole neighborhood. I'm telling you, no kidding. I'm not bragging. I'm saying as a matter of fact.
This is not, my discussion is not about making fun of white people. My discussion is trying to explain behavior.
I value your effort.
Why am I doing this? For example, when I was a very small child, I wanted to understand why black men were lynched. I asked my grandmother and parents, why would this be done? And my grandmother gave a statement. She said something like, well, some people just want to act ugly. But that wasn't sufficient, as a psychiatrist.
May I interrupt for just a moment? Here's the read on that. I know you want to add to this or make it just a little more complicated. The black male was lynched and often castrated because of the white male's fear of the black male's. The myth is the black male's extraordinary sexual capacity. So he was lynched by frightened white males who feared that if he ever got anywhere near the white women, that somehow the white male would be a sex. Now, you want to add to
his sexual capacity. What are we talking about? I say that the fear is that the black male can cause white genetic annihilation. And this is why the attack on the genitals, there's no history in the world of any non-white men attacking white men's genitals. But why do white men feel the need to zero in on the black man's genitals and cut them off? You see, a lot of this is played out in symbolic behavior in this culture. For example, the culture says, keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Look at something that,
I get there, too. That's what I'm saying.
See, look at something that people do not look at. Look at the game of billiards. See, the psychiatrist knows that through games we play out subconscious activity.
Yes, they do.
Okay, now look at this game. Here's a game with colored balls.
Yes.
All over the table.
And guess who gets to shoot the ball?
The white ball knocks all the colored balls under the table.
And often saves
the black
ball.
Black ball, right.
Till last. Because there's specialness about the black. Yeah. Let me, Dr. Welsing, now, you're not surprised at the response to this audience. Just a couple of things here for the sake of our conversation. First of all, we welcome your contribution. That is, for what it's worth, I certainly do. Which does not mean, therefore, that I or this audience necessarily agree with everything you say. But let me tell you what I think is important. I don't think we've asked enough questions about this thing called racism, which has, in my opinion, the capacity to bring us down as a nation, if not, certainly not only here, but in many parts of the world. It is in the American bloodstream, and it's especially manifest here. So good for you trying to figure this out, because it's my, no kidding, it's my opinion, not enough smart people are really speaking to this. We run away from this. Another point you make, you think the token black is an effort to assuage this hidden feeling that we have? Is that, how do you explain?
Well, the token black, I mean, you may say that was under pressure. You see, that you have to, the civil rights movement, you have to include some non-white people. But every effort is made to move around that. And I understand, I mean, it's tragic, and it's injustice. And I'm not just saying here, I'm saying all over this planet, whether we're talking about South Africa. And see, one important example that people do a lot of surface talking about is the Holocaust. See how quiet it is? The Holocaust in Germany was because what? Because the Semites of the Jewish religion were said by the Europeans to be non-white people. The Holocaust didn't just occur.
So you think that there's...
Wait a minute. You see what I'm saying? If we have denial going on about this, all you have to do is look at what the Nazis are saying today. And what the Klan is saying today.
So you're saying anti-Semitism has the same root?
If you read Hitler, if you read all the documentation...
Anti-Semitism has pigmentation as it's...
Had to do with the Semites. Look at the part of the world that the Semites come out of. I say that the word Semite comes from the Latin prefix semi, meaning half. It's a word like mulatto. It means a combination of black African women, Greek and Roman soldiers, and you had that mixture. 2,000 years of continuing mixture in Europe made a lighter group of people.
Okay, can I just...
that were still considered to be non-white.
When you use lighter and, you say recessive, and you use the word recessive gene, I think I know what that means.
This is not my language. This is the language of formal genetics.
That's true. But you equate recessive with inferior. Now, just hang on 1 second. I don't claim to be the first one to bring this to your attention, but aren't you dangerously close to Joseph Mengele?
No.
How about John Clinton?
No. Wait a minute. No. What I am trying...
Time to stop talking about the problem
and start voting for the solution. That's why this November,
we're voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Because the time for change is now.
Trying to do is explain some very, very important behavior on the planet that other people have shied away from dealing with. You see, and to say that because you talk about it's just like if somebody studied tuberculosis and say, well, are you against the tuberculosis organism? No, you're trying to understand.
Well, but you do bring judgments on me. So when you equate recessive with inferior, that's not science. That's judgment.
No. I'm not. That's not what I say. I say that the people who are feeling an absence of color, that they look at themselves in that way. And they have a response to therefore say, if I can get in charge of all these non-white people, then I am going to be superior. So nobody is uncomfortable in the white collective with all the white superiority that goes on every day. Look at television. White. Wait a minute.
All right, I got it. Hold on a minute. Look at... All right, hang on.
Oh, my goodness.
Hold 1 second. There are a couple of things that you... listen, there are people out there who say, look at all the progress we're making. I am not one of those people. Nevertheless, there are examples of integrated communities. Truly are.
But see, the answer is not a question of are there a few black people living where white people live. The issue is that if we're going to have peace on the planet, there has to be justice. And white supremacy, where you have the tiniest number of people on the planet, holding down the vast majority of people on the planet, happens to be the highest form of injustice.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to have peace, see, I'm not talking about destroying white people. I'm saying, but we do have to eliminate white supremacy. And I say in the back of that paper, the challenge to white behavioral scientists, help people classify themselves as white, become comfortable with their color and comfortable with their minority status, so that they are not feeling negative and then mistreating all of the people that they say are what? Non-white.
Right.
here. Did I tell you to bring your sleeping bag? Dick Gregory is like Daddy Google. You put in a question or a word and wham! And you know your head is just buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. Then you go to sleep and you wake up and you extract maybe 1 or 2 jewels out of all that. But your life changes. It's like telepathic, whatever is in all of that Google, something for you. So, thank you so much, Detroit. Thank you for coming. Dick Gregory has elevated us.
These white ladies sitting over there, were y'all the ones that interviewed me? Where are they? I guess all white folk do look alike. The reason I said you all are some beautiful white women. All they show us on TV is glamorous white women. And every white woman that's ever been murdered, you hear them on the TV say, gorgeous, beautiful. Have they ever killed an ugly white woman? And white women, y'all know how they portray black folks on TV. You better go back and look at their movies and see how they portray you. Yeah, Dracula came to your house, not mine. And you should have known the way he was talking. I love you. He's sitting there with a tuxedo on and no shoes. And then all the movies talking about the same. She in this big old mansion and the wind is blowing them drink all the way back to the kitchen. Now our sister would have got the hell out of there. A dumbass white woman go, is anybody out
Yo,
there?
Sean, what up, bro? I'm over here texting my boss, yo.
Yes, my dear.
So yeah, I got surgery tomorrow, and my boss is texting me saying that if I need a ride to or from my surgery, or if I need help, anything like that, to just let her know. And I told her I should be okay because my friend is here. So, but the doctors specifically said, like, yo, you're gonna be under anesthesia and we cannot let you leave the hospital by yourself. So you definitely have to have someone with you. But I should have that covered. But that's the cool thing about my job, though. Like, yo, my boss, my direct supervisor just called. She was like, yo, if you need anything, let me know. I'll come take you to your fucking surgery and take you home if that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? Whatever my job can do to help, they've said this several times already, like, do not hesitate to ask. If you need anything, just ask us and we'll see what we can do for you. I started my short-term disability yesterday. Oh crap. I gotta take a piss, guys. Let me hobble downstairs real quick. I'll be right back.
So she climbs over the balcony. Ain't got nothing but a damn rope. And he going doo-doo-doo-doo. She just follows it, doo-doo-doo. And she comes, here he is. She said, oh, I am so lonely. I love you so much. I'm saying, look at his feet. That nigga ain't got no shoes on. There's snow on the ground. You don't know that's something strange? Full moon. So old Dracula pulls her over and kisses her. And she thinks he's a gentleman because he didn't kiss her in the mouth. He kissed her right there where that vein was. And now she a little Dracula. So she said, can I see you again? I said, I'm gonna be this way till the full moon. She said, I can handle it. I said, no, by that time you need to get your own route. Somewhere. So I married my wife. That's my mother said. No son of mine that ever get a woman pregnant and don't marry. Well, that sounds cool to me because she didn't say you had to stay with her. Now, she didn't know she was saying that's what sounded to me. So Lillian gets pregnant. And you folks getting ready to get married? Whew, take a tip from the brother, man. When you get them pregnant, it don't cost nothing for a wedding. Y'all be going through all the bullshit. Trying to act like you're a virgin. You're trying to act like you know.
Yeah, dude, I fucking. Yeah, bro, my Achilles tendon, snap that bitch, bro. That shit is snapped. So yeah, I got surgery tomorrow morning, or sometime tomorrow early in the day. They said they'll call me sometime after 3 o'clock this afternoon to fill me in on the details on exactly what time I should be to the hospital. And then they said the healing process is like 8 to 12 weeks. So I'll be out for the rest of the fucking year, yo, until December, you know, first of the year next year. They said it's after the surgery we'll do this shit again and put a more permanent cast on for, I think they said a permanent cast for 4 weeks after the surgery, and then the cast comes off and they give me a boot with a heel on it, and I guess every so many weeks they lower the heel until the boot is like normal walking level again, and then the boot will come off. And then they said even after that, after the 12 weeks, it'll still be maybe a year before I have full range of motion with this foot again. And even after that year, where, you know, I'm completely recovered, I will never have the same strength, that step off ability. You know what I'm saying? If my left foot was my jump shot foot, that shit is gone, nigga. You're not jumping. There's like, you're not pushing off this foot like that no more. So it is what it is, bro. I've never had surgery ever in my fucking life, yo. I tore my Achilles tendon trying to help somebody push a car. So I'm fucking Hopalong Cassidy. You know what I'm saying? One of the originators of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn. Why does my messenger look different? They must be just updated that shit, yo. I'm starting to get hungry now. Hey, bro, my 2020 been going too good this year, bro. I know something had to like skirt, like you doing too much, nigga. You doing too much. Slow the fuck down. Okay, universe. I see what you saying. I'll sit down for the rest of the year. If that's what you really want me to do, well, I'm still be paying while I'm sitting down. Like, what the fuck? You ain't stopping shit. You know what I'm saying? You just took a little bit of pep out of my step. A little bit of glide out of my stride. But I'ma still stride though. Shit, it's just gonna look kind of weird for a minute. I'ma still step. That shit just gonna be a little slower for a minute. It's all good. And then, oh man, yeah, that's true. My hands is my livelihood. If something happened to my hands, I'll be in here painting with my toes. Fuck that, nigga. Hold the brush, nigga. Get it. Put the brush in my mouth, paint with that shit. I'm still paint. Almost, bro. So close. So close. Oh, so close. Almost made it through the whole year like fucking, like that shit ain't even bother me, nigga. Like, 2020 was a good year for me, yo. Like, oh, I did have to have surgery though, cause I hurt myself real bad. Other than that, you know, this shit has been bomb as fuck for me. I have no complaints for 2020 at all. I have no complaints with 2020. 2020 has been okay. You know what I'm saying? And then I still keep looking at this, trying to look at the silver lining in this shit right here. I hurt myself trying to help somebody. You know, it's not like I was doing some dickhead shit. I wasn't fighting. I wasn't like trying to steal something or rob somebody or anything like that. I was helping somebody, a stranger. Trying to help a stranger. I hurt myself, you know, but once again, I always talk about my job, yo. I like my job, yo. These motherfuckers are so understanding. Like, I say, my boss literally just texted me just early in the morning. Shane had to do that just now. And not related to work, related to me personally and my surgery. Hey, if you need anything, let us know. If you need someone with you at your surgery, you need somebody to pick you up and take you home, whatever you need, let us know and we'll try to help you. Like them personally, my boss will literally come to my house and help me if I ask her to. And that's the kind of the caliber of people I work around, yo. And so I'm good. And the HR lady, man, the last 2 days she been calling me. We gotta get this set up. I'm getting some information ready now and this and that. And yesterday we was on the phone for a little while and she told me how to set up my short-term disability and what that entitles and how much I'm expected to get and all of this stuff. Yo, it's like they is not playing. They really just want to make sure I come through this shit okay. You know what I'm saying? I swear, yo. And that's just my job. You know, and it's cool that I feel extra special about that shit because I don't have any family or friends in this state, yo. In the whole state, I don't have no family here, and I got one friend, yo, one homie. Like, man, that nigga, I've been fucking with him for a couple years, yo. And if I need something, that's like the one guy I could probably call on. But even for shit like this, like he got a family and kids and work, like that nigga can't help me, yo. Like, so I don't really want to like be a burden on anybody. And my friend who's here with me now, like she's super fucking supportive as well, yo. And I don't know, she drives a long way to come fucking help me out. So I think I'm good right now. And I'm not really worried about, I don't know, I've never had surgery. I've never had a broken bone in my life. I've never had a stitch. The most surgery I've ever had is getting a wisdom tooth taken out. Other than that, like I've never had to spend a night in the hospital. Not for myself. I've stayed a night in the hospital before, but like at somebody else's bedside. It's not because I was in a hospital. But now it's just like, I thought I would be more nervous, but honestly, I just want to get this shit over with. Yo, like, just let's hurry up and do this thing so I can get on the other side of the surgery and then start recovery. Like, until then, I'm just injured. But after the surgery now I'm recovering. I just want to be on that side of it. Like, let's just do this. And like, I went to the doctors on Wednesday, on Tuesday. I saw the doctor Tuesday and they was like, oh, we can cut you open Friday. I'm like, damn, that's fast. I thought it was going to be like a week or something, or maybe a week and a half of waiting. And they was like, nah, we got to get you in here now. It's the only one that'll fit, yo. These Timberland socks are the best, yo. I swear, I've had these same socks for years now. I brought some underwear this year, but I haven't bought socks this year at all, yo. No, I haven't. I'm started, like, I had 2 packs of white Nike footies, and them shits are starting to get dingy, so I might replace those, my white footies. But like, as far as like long, thick winter socks, man, I've had these Timberland socks for a couple years now, and these shits are the fucking bomb. Mm. All right. I've only been here for a little while, but I haven't eaten anything this morning. I'm getting hungry as shit. I'm not even. I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying. I pre-ordered my paint with the Prince boxers. I wish I did have some painting with the Prince boxers and socks. I could have did merch. I was thinking about doing merch. Socks and t-shirts and all that shit. But then I thought about a product instead. So I made this instead of having merchandise. So I invested money into an actual product. And merchandise is our product too, but like, everybody makes socks and t-shirts and hoodies and hats and shit. Most people don't make shit like this. So if you do want to order something from me, you can order one of my patented designed paintbrush holders. I might get to merch eventually. Yeah, I say it's been on my mind for years now, like really designing some shit. And I did design this one T-shirt, the hip hoptopus. It's like an octopus, but he's cool and he's into art and hip hop. And I actually made a mock-up T-shirt, and I even asked a couple of people over the summer, like, who could give me the best prices on printing up a couple of sets of these shirts. And I kind of put the picture online, and a few people said they'll buy one if I did print them up. But people don't ever buy shit. You're like, oh, if you do that, I'll get one. Like with my brush holders. Oh, I'll order 20 of them because I'll be teaching art classes and stuff. And then it's like, here's my brush holders, and then crickets. So it's like, whatever. And even if I did a t-shirt, I would have been charging the same thing, like $22 for a fucking t-shirt. But would people really buy those shits and wear them? So, I don't know. That might be my next endeavor is some type of merch. But my hip hoptopus is a pretty cool idea. I like the little drawing I did for it. I said I drew one. I drew one shirt out, like hand drew it out. I never actually had any printed up or anything like that. Yeah, well, I already set up Etsy, so all I gotta do is like whatever I get now, I can just add to there. I was thinking about taking some pictures of my prints that I have. I have a few prints of some of my artwork, like this piece right here. This piece right here, I have like 3 or 4 prints of that, and then I have like 3 or 4 prints of a few other pieces, and I think I may even have a print of this right here. So I'll advertise that on the site if somebody want to buy like a $40 print or something. And then I say t-shirts. They're not hard to not hard to get done. I just want them done nice. I want like a high quality shirt because everybody can fucking print a fucking t-shirt. Hip hoptopus. I'll show it to you real quick. Not the gelato. I hope I don't have no permanent limp. Yeah, but the hip hoptopus. And then there's like a little star on the back. And then on the side it says tentacle. Tentacle. You get it? But it's the number 10. Oh, green. Yeah, would you rock this t-shirt in a gray if the shirt was gray or black or this white? I was even thinking about orange, getting some orange ones made up since it does have that orange in there. Like a reddish orange. And got little hearts for the eyes. Never even put this shit on yet. Like I said, it's just a prototype, so I don't want to ever really wear it and get it all dirty and shit. Ten tickles. Damn. So like I said, I have some ideas. I can even just parlay that little character into everything else, like t-shirts, hoodies, socks, beanie hats, or whatever, and just have that one character cover everything, or try to come up with some other stuff. What? And I'm on Etsy, of course. Paintings by the Prince. That is my moniker. You will always find me using that. I'm not ever going to change it. I'm not ever going to call any of my sites anything different. So if I'm saying I'm on YouTube or if I'm on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, just look up Paintings by the Prince and you'll find that shit, yeah. And so now I'm on Etsy and it's simple as shit. Same shit. Paintings by the Prince on Etsy, and you'll pull up my my little brush holder. Oh, I can't type. Oh, right there. Paintings by the Prince. Mm. And that's the only item I have on there right now, so. Like I say, it's already set up and everything, so it shouldn't be hard to add other stuff if I need to. Wow. I just seen this painting. It's a 16 by 20, and this dude wants. He must have. I don't know if he's really tripping or what, but that's the painting right there. There's like some black and white trees on a gray scale, and he says he wants $55,000 for it, for this painting. and it's an 18 by 20 inch canvas, which is about like this, like that, something like this, like that, of this picture, and it says $55,463.12, but the shipping is free. See, that's where your savings come in, because you don't have to pay to ship the $55,000 painting. No, that's crazy, bro. $55,463.12. He had to that has to be a mispricing of that thing. Had to be mispriced. You know? That can't be. Can't be possibly a real thing though. Just anyway. $55,000. Damn, I gotta start listing my shit up there. I'm just putting my artwork up there. Like, yo, you want this painting? 100K. see who jumped. 100K, nigga. You know you want it. It has to be a misprint. But the numbers is so precise though, all the way down to the cents. And 63 cents or 14 cents or whatever the fuck that shit was. Like, why you so precise all the way down to the cents though? $55,463.14. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Okay, buddy. If that's what you want me to pay. Hmm. Damn, the trash trucks are just coming? Oh shit, they're kinda late, yeah. That's what I want to charge for them, but I gotta wait a little bit longer, dude. I gotta find the right person to buy one first. And then after that, then everyone will recognize that my art should be worth 100K. Just gotta get that first buyer though. Alright. So, should we get back to painting? We're gonna have to. mm, Shit, I might as well just wait till lunchtime now. It's almost 10 o'clock and I still haven't eaten anything yet. was I done? I was working on his shirt a little bit more. I think I'm gonna work on just add a few little highlights here and there to his shirt and maybe his hair. And I'm gonna consider this piece done really, yo. You know? Yeah, this piece is almost done.
Of Jar in Netherlands. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Hi, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. So I'm very nervous because English is not my native language. I feel that this whole debate is always very much about the precise wording, so you're in a huge advantage. I'll do my best.
I actually, based on what the call screener put in here in the notes, I think this is possibly something where language got in the way. Because it says here that, well, go ahead and state what it is that you wanted to ask.
So the thing, I called about 2 months about this same issue, and the thing that I want to talk about is that saying that God either exists or doesn't exist is, as far as I can tell, a false dilemma.
It's absolutely not a false dilemma. It is a direct logical negation. Either X exists or X does not exist. That is a direct logical negation. It is true for absolutely everything. It is X exists or X does not exist. Those are the only two options.
Is that true in the center of a black hole also?
It's true anywhere, everywhere, all the time. It is true. Because you were suggesting that, okay, maybe it's indeterminate whether or not God exists, but that's a different question. Because God either exists or God doesn't exist, and that is independent of whether or not you can determine if God exists.
If the law of excluded middle holds in the center of a black hole.
I have no reason to think that it doesn't hold there. Do you have any evidence that it doesn't hold there?
Really?
Yes.
There's no reason that it doesn't hold.
Why would you ask me really, really yes? I just told you I have no reason to think that it does not apply there. These are viewed as universals. These are the identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle, or the laws of logic. Why wouldn't they work in a black hole?
But science agrees that all logic breaks down in a black hole.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Science tells you nothing about logic. Anytime a scientist says all logic breaks down, they're talking out of their ass. Because logic doesn't break down. When scientists say stuff like that as a colloquial, this defies logic. It means we don't understand what's going on. It does not mean that it can violate the law of identity or non-contradiction excluded middle, because every scientist who has any grounding and understanding in philosophy and logic will recognize contradiction and excluded middle are apparently absolute, inviolate, always the case.
And
unless you have evidence.
So you're actually claiming that you know what goes on in the center of a black hole?
No, sir. I'm claiming that you don't know how to listen to me because I said I do not have evidence.
That the law of
Oh my! Are you going to listen to me or are you going to talk?
Claim about the center of a black hole.
Are you going to listen to me or are you going to talk?
Are you listening to me?
No, I'm not. I'm not listening to you.
More than I do.
So the problem here is that you're not listening to me. I said I have no reason to think these don't apply in a black hole, and your follow-up question to me was, am I claiming to know that they do work in a black hole? No, that's not what I claimed. Why is it that if you ask me a question and I answer, I don't have any evidence that they don't work, why would you then come back with, oh, so you're saying you know they do work?
That's not what I said. So now you said you don't know if they work hold in the center of a black hole. That's what you're saying. You don't know, you're not really sure. Is that correct?
No, I believe that they hold true everywhere, absolutely, all the time. However,
so you're 100% convinced?
Would you fucking let me finish a sentence? Would you not? I get there's a language barrier, but when I pause and say the word however, that means there's more coming. Say, I am convinced that they work everywhere, not certain that they work everywhere. That's not a contradiction. And when you asked me about a black hole, my position was, I believe that they work there. I have no reason to think that they don't. And then I asked you, do you have reason to think they don't? And you came back with scientists say logic breaks down in a black hole, which is not accurate. So do you have evidence that identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle do not function in a black hole, are not true in a black hole?
No, I don't have evidence, but you just said that you are not certain if they hold. Is that correct?
Correct. Okay, let me make this really clear for you, Yelmer. I am not absolutely certain. Would you let me make this fucking clear? I am not absolutely certain about any. Oh my God! Can you let me finish one fucking sentence here? I am not absolutely certain about anything, and I've seen no demonstration that anyone can be absolutely certain about anything. And if you have evidence to show that the laws of logic break down in a black hole and no longer function, why are you talking to me?
You just as certain that the laws of logic holds in the center of a black hole as they outside of the center? Are you just as certain about that? So now you're really claiming how the center of a black hole works.
No, I'm not, and that's because you're not listening. You're not listening.
Yeah.
I know you're not, and the proof is that is you keep fucking interrupting to say stuff. I said I'm not absolutely certain about anything. I'm not, which means I'm not absolutely certain that the laws of logic work in a black hole. And then you ask me, am I just as certain about them working in a black hole as I am out? And the answer is yes. I am just as confident that the laws of logic apply in a black hole as out a black hole. And until you have some way to demonstrate that they don't, what's the point?
Is that science uses calculations of mathematics to try to interpret what's going on in the universe, how the universe works. And all their mathematics and all their calculations break down in the center of a black hole. Now,
which doesn't tell you anything. Which doesn't tell you anything about whether or not the laws of logic break down.
Yeah, Yelmer, you're confusing the laws of science with the laws of logic. Laws of science are merely things that we observe for which we have no exceptions. That's what a law of science is. And yet you probably have heard scientists say that
on mathematics.
He's not listening.
You take axioms and you take rules of inference. These are the basics of mathematics.
I don't know. No. Yelmer, the basics of mathematics is logic. And when higher order mathematics break down, it means that logic broke down.
And in fact, they don't even say that mathematics breaks down before the Planck time. All they say is the laws of physics may or may not break down before Planck time, which is something you've probably heard a scientist say and probably thought they meant laws of logic. But those are, you're talking about three different fields now: logic, science and math. I know they're related, and I know they have similar foundations in that they're proper to the universe, but they are not the same thing. So when you're coming at us with this whole black hole scenario, that doesn't actually have anything to do with logic. Black hole scenarios, those are laws of physics that we think might break down. So is it possible that that is what you heard and what you think people are claiming?
Mathematics and logic are related.
Yes. Mathematics is contingent upon logic, and when math breaks down, that does not mean logic breaks down.
Use axioms and inference rules. That is mathematics.
It's very clear that you are not thinking about what's being said to you. You're just waiting for your turn to talk so you can spit out the next thing. Mathematics is contingent upon logic. Correct?
It's the other way around.
Well, then you are wrong. Because you can't have math until you have logic. You cannot do math until you have identity, non-contradiction, and excluded middle. You are functionally ass backward about which one is contingent. Because there's nothing about identity that has anything to do with mathematics, is in any way contingent on mathematics. Mathematics are the tools that we've developed to make calculations. But all of those are subservient, contingent to logic. This is the basics. This is Logic 101. Math 101.
They are presuppositions, correct?
No. Well, so, all right. What's presuppositions?
Wow.
You said they're presuppositions, and I want to know what you mean. Which ones?
The laws of logic, laws of addition.
Yes, we presuppose them.
They are presuppositions, yes.
Correct.
They are equal to axioms in mathematics, correct?
No. Equal.
No?
Correct.
Why not?
What? You just seem befuddled. You don't seem actually interested at all in the answer or the explanation. You just seem confused that I would say this.
Isn't really a response.
I'm confused because
I know you're confused because you don't understand how logic, say identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle. These are presuppositions that serve as a foundation. They basically describe a single Venn diagram with a circle, where A is A, not A is not A, and nothing is both A and not A at the same time in the same way. Because of that, you need that foundation in order to do math, because you can't add one apple to another apple until you have one apple. And one apple requires the logical foundation of identity. Same thing is true for abstract concepts like a quantity of one. You can't have a quantity of one. You have identity. You have to have identity first.
And an axiom is more like a triangle has three sides. That's just something we're all going to agree to, but it's not like part of nature. So the axiomatic isn't built on logic per se. Axioms are just things that we're going to agree upon so that we can speak a common language.
Actually, they are presuppositions.
Yeah, but not all presuppositions are equal. See, you can presuppose something, the framework of logic. You have to have that logic, otherwise you don't begin to be able to have axioms like, the three angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Which actually isn't the axiom, because that's something you can demonstrate with math.
Right.
Without identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle, you can't have anything. You can't have reason. How could you have mathematics without reason?
And when mathematics breaks down and reason breaks down...
No, sir. No, sir. Mathematics breaks down. When somebody says mathematics breaks down, they don't mean math breaks down. They mean our understanding that we are codifying with mathematics in order to describe something stops here. It doesn't mean that it won't be solvable, that there won't be an equation later on to discover. And even if it does, even if that's what somebody actually meant, that there will never be mathematics to describe this, still contingent upon reason. And if the math breaks down in that sense, that doesn't mean reason has broken down. Reason is, there's never been any demonstration, ever. And there could not be one of reason breaking down. There's nothing that violates identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle.
You are claiming that everything just keeps working in the center of black hole.
No, what I'm saying is we know that it works until somebody demonstrates that it doesn't work in the black hole. The default position is to assume that it works there as well. Just like you haven't bothered to ask, do the laws of logic break down inside my penis? You haven't asked that. Do you have any reason to think that they would break down inside my penis?
It doesn't know if 1 + 1 is 2 in the center of the black hole, but you still hold that logic just...
That's not true. 1 + 1 is still 1 + 1 is what it is. You're
trying to put abstract concepts.
Why can't you answer the question that I'm asked? Do you have good reason to think that the laws of logic break down inside my penis?
I prefer not to talk about your penis.
Well, I prefer not to talk to you anymore at all.
Great. But you're totally irrational if you claim that you know what's going on inside the black hole.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
All of science says...
You keep saying that I'm irrational, and I'm trying to come up with an example. So let's set aside my penis. I have a tube here. Do you think that the laws of logic break down inside this tube that I'm holding?
I have no idea, but the tube is part of the we are living in.
So is a black hole. So is a black hole.
Yeah, except that
you don't have any reason to think logic breaks down inside of a black hole either.
No. The center of black hole, the calculation breaks down. So you're
no, sir.
Knowledge about what goes on.
As I've explained several times, the fact that you cannot do further calculations to understand this while outside of it and not having access to information does not mean that logic stops working anywhere ever. You have a lot of work to do in order to demonstrate that logic breaks down anywhere ever. And until you do, there's no reason that it breaks down anywhere ever, including the center of a black hole, that tube, or my dick.
Magic hole in the center of a black hole. You have no proof or evidence for that at all.
What the fuck is your point, Yelmer? What is it that you want to get to?
You are not sure if the law of excluded middle holes in the center of black hole, you have no foundation whatsoever to expect that somebody else accepts your claim when you say that the true nature of reality is either defined or not defined.
No, you're very, very, very confused here because what you just said is that if I don't know that, then I don't know whether somebody accepts. I don't care whether somebody accepts. That's the thing about logic and science. They don't care whether or not you accept it. It's true irrespective. And the fact that I can't tell you for absolute certain what goes on in the center of a black hole doesn't mean that you have any reason to think that logic breaks down there. And everything that we know and understand about logic shows that it doesn't.
You're now, this is a red herring. You're representing me.
I'm not a red. This is not a red herring.
You are.
Okay, prove it. Prove it, or I'm not. Where's the red herring?
If you're not completely certain if the laws of excluded middle holds in the center of a black hole, you have no foundation to expect that anybody else accepts.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong, Yelmer. Here's why. I'm not absolutely certain that the laws of logic apply outside of a black hole. What? The black hole is fucking irrelevant. I am convinced, presupposition, demonstrated by their continued reliance, that the laws of logic apply everywhere as far as we can tell. You want to bring up a black hole as if, well, are you certain here? You don't have to bring up the black hole at all, Yelmer. You could say, Matt, are you certain that the laws of logic apply anywhere and everywhere? And my answer is no, because as I told you 20 minutes ago, I'm not absolutely certain about anything. That does not mean, the lack of absolute certainty does not mean that I can't have reasonable, rational positions, including the demonstrable effectiveness of the laws of logic. Okay, thanks for the right. I'll take that.
Trouble with law, and I didn't understand this when I was a theist, was that laws of science and laws of logic apply as long as they apply. And the reason we hold to them is because we've never seen an exception to them. The minute we see an exception to, oh, here's a circumstance where gravity doesn't work, well, then we're not going to call it a law of gravity anymore. Or, you know, these laws are essentially, they're kind of committing a black swan fallacy in its own way, but they're useful because they give predictable results. So a law is not something that God had to prescribe. A law is observation for which we have no exceptions. So I think he's got some
Well,
confidence in there.
I'm guilty of this, as are many other people, which is the notion that these aren't laws. Identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle have been called the laws of thought.
Right.
But not laws like scientific laws, which, by the way, so proof applies in mathematics and laws apply in physics. And, you begin with an observation, a hypothesis, you go through the testing thing, and then you get to theory, which, by the way, the theory isn't the law either. Law, for the most part, scripted. All we're doing is saying, this is the way the universe works. And as far as we can tell, it seems to work that way uniformly. Does gravity work the same way everywhere in the universe? I don't know. He demonstrates that gravity is working differently in different parts of the universe for sure. Then we should just begin with this presumption of uniformity, which is what science is based on. And that presumption of uniformity, by the way, that science is based on, is not a problem in the sense of, oh, we found something that doesn't appear uniform. Clearly, that can't be true. No. As soon as science finds something that changes or corrects what they thought was the case, then our knowledge changes.
Exactly. And that is actually one of the proper presuppositions. He was trying to get into weird things that are presuppositions, but uniformity is one thing we hold as presuppositional. Yeah.
I have a handful of things that I have to take as presuppositions. The foundation being the, air quotes, laws of thought, identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle. The next one being that I actually experience and share a reality with other people, and that the reality is that there is a uniformity of 1 + 1 = 2 here, and it's going to equal that on the other side of the galaxy, and the acceleration due to gravity, or the weak nuclear force, the strong nuclear force, these aspects of physics are uniformly across our reality, if not further. We don't know.
And I add one more to that, and that is the predictive model is better than a non-predictive model.
Yeah. I'm baffled as to what the point was, because it seemed like, so what the call screener had said was that he thinks that either God exists or God does exist is a false dichotomy. Even if the laws of logic do not work in a black hole, they'll work, and that's still a true dichotomy.
Right, exactly.
It's like if you imagined, let's take this abstract thought of Matt, because it's of me, because evidently he's never bothered to look at what anybody else has said about philosophy from that. Says either God exists or God doesn't exist. Take that statement and put it in a black hole and see if it's still true. Congratulations, you just wasted a half hour of the show.
Yeah. And I think there probably is a language barrier because he's equivocating all over the place, and that's easy enough to do when you're an English speaker. So,
yeah. And I don't want to beat somebody up too much for, okay, maybe there's a subtle thing, but if somebody else from the Netherlands wants to perhaps do a video and explain it to people in another language, cool. Sure, we'll go with that.
This is Star Talk Cosmic Queries. This is the Venus edition. Is there life or is there not? And my co-host for this is longtime friend and funny as all get out, Paul McHugh. Paul, welcome back to Star Talk.
Dude. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a while. It's great. Always fun.
I was on your podcast.
Yes.
And the name of your podcast was the Paul Mercurio Show. Is that like the best name you can come up with?
Well, we workshopped for 6 months. It's like we focus grouped it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's on iTunes, and we got I guess have an array of interesting people. So it's everybody from you to Paul McCartney, Kevin Costner, and
excuse me, name drop. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I got to get people to go listen to it. I got to drop their name.
No, it's great. So it's great to have you on.
Yep.
And so I read about Venus, but I'm not an expert on it. And so I had to call one of my old-time friends and colleagues, David Grinspoon, Dr. Funky Spoon. David, welcome back to Star Talk.
Thanks, Neil. It's great to see you, and always fun to do Star Talk.
Is your Twitter handle still Dr. Funky Spoon?
Oh yeah. I am Dr. Funky Spoon on Twitter.
Okay, and you're also a part-time musician, I guess. This is you riffed some lines about, was it the Big Bang or planets on an earlier episode of Star Talk?
Well, we did the astrobiology blues.
Astrobiology blues, looking for life blues. Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for
that. Especially these days when we're all kind of stuck at home. I've been playing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Right, excellent. I see a guitar in your back there. And where are you now in this moment?
In Washington, D.C., in an undisclosed location, a basement.
Oh, so in your parents' basement. Okay. Let the record show he hasn't moved out. He still hasn't launched.
Mom, Meatloaf!
I'm trying.
It's like that scene with the Will Ferrell. Mom, Meatloaf! And he just screams for Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, you're making me hungry.
So, but anyhow, you literally wrote the book on Venus a few years back, the book Venus Revealed. So Venus is one of your planetary objects of affection as a working scientist at the Planetary Science Institute based in Arizona, but you're in a satellite location there in Washington, D.C. So just welcome back to Star Talk.
Thanks. Yeah, Venus has been an obsession of mine, since graduate school. And so it's always fun when you see it, when I see it get a little extra attention.
Well, what we did is we solicited, as we always do for Cosmic Queries, questions from our fan base on all the various social media platforms about Venus, about the possibility of life on Venus. And but Paul, you have all those questions, right? So I haven't seen them. I don't know, Dave, you haven't seen them either, have you?
I have not.
Yeah. So he's gonna pull out the hard ones.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is for a new car.
Wait, before you begin, I just want to establish this. So, David, you've been a planetary guy your whole life?
Yeah, I've been doing research projects with Paul McCartney and Kevin Costner. No, I have. I mean, literally my whole life, in the sense that even as a kid, like a lot of scientists of my generation, after the moon landing, that was it. I was going to be a space person in some way, and then I was pretty much obsessed with planetary exploration as a teenager. All the first missions were going out to Venus and Mars and stuff, and then undergraduate, grad school, planetary science researcher. It's that's been my thing, literally pretty much my whole life.
Paul might be your age, and so he had the same moon landing experience, but he didn't become a scientist. So Paul, what happened to you?
Wow, I gotta go. If I want to be heckled, I'll do the 2:30 spot at the Comedy Cellar. I don't need this. No, wait. Exactly. Well, in 5th grade, I made a solar system out of styrofoam balls. So there, okay, beat that.
There you go. Okay.
No, it's just never been. I like science. I just wasn't. I didn't feel like that was sort of my.
You have good science literacy. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep inviting you back. Just so you know.
I do. Thank you. Yeah, I do enjoy it. I do read up on it. And when I leave these shows, I always feel both dumber and smarter at the same time. So
that's a good thing, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah. So you know that you don't know everything, and you're proud of what you do know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good place to be. So, Paul, what do you have for us?
Okay, here we go. First one is from Patreon, Izzy Roar. So much about Venus is still a mystery to us, and since our early reference point for life is Earth-based, isn't it hard to say that the phosphine found on Venus is a sign of life? Could it just as easily be caused by something that we never encountered before, and so wouldn't even know to think of? What do you make of?
Whoa. So there, David.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great question. I mean,
start off by giving a 2-minute overview of that press conference and what news we're all reacting to here.
So the big news this week is that it was announced that a discovery was made about Venus, which is that a gas called phosphine was detected in the atmosphere of Venus. Using 2 different radio telescopes on Earth, a spectroscopic signal, a line, an absorption line that shouldn't be in the atmosphere of Venus, and they couldn't find any other gas that would explain it except for this gas called phosphine, which is just a phosphorus atom with 3 hydrogen atoms hanging off it, a simple molecule, which on Earth is only produced in our atmosphere basically by life or by industrial processes, including meth labs. But nobody's saying, hey, there's meth labs on Venus. But you know, yeah, probably we'll go there for sure.
By the way, I hope this leads to an outer space reboot of Breaking Bad. That's all I want to see happen.
I think it needs to happen. So this is a surprising result because phosphine is a chemical that should not be in the atmosphere of Venus. Meaning that if you just put some in the atmosphere of Venus, you would expect it to go away very quickly because the other chemicals there, you would expect them to eat it. It's not stable there. And so this is a known way of searching for life on exoplanets, especially planets around other stars where you can only look at the atmospheres, because the idea is that if something is producing an unexpected gas in an atmosphere, it could be a sign of life. And so there's this unexpected gas in the atmosphere of Venus, which on Earth is only made by life. And so the scientists have said, well, could it be volcanoes? And they did calculations and they said, no, there's no way it could be volcanoes. Could it be caused by lightning?
Venus has volcanoes.
Venus does have volcanoes, so that's an obvious thought. But if they've done their calculations right, and you can be sure all of this is going to be scrutinized, it ought to be scrutinized. Is there a problem with the observation? Maybe. Did they do their calculations wrong? Maybe there's some obvious way to make the phosphine they're not thinking of. But at this point, it seems like a big mystery why this biogenic gas is in the atmosphere of Venus. So, but the question is well taken because, yes, absolutely, it could be a sign of something else that we haven't figured out yet. It's just that simply that nobody has yet figured out a good way to make it that's not life. So it doesn't mean, we found life on Venus. It means we found this mysterious indicator that has been, before this discovery, it was already published, the idea that if you found phosphine in an atmosphere, it could be a sign of life. So there it is.
Isn't one theory that this life, it's 800 degrees on Venus, but somehow some of it got into the atmosphere of Venus, which is more life-friendly? It'd be like 85 degrees Fahrenheit, I was reading, in that atmosphere, and that's where it sort of has maybe taken hold?
Yeah, Paul, that's a very important point because, anybody listening to this who knows, basic facts about the solar system knows that Venus is not a place you would expect life because the surface is 900 degrees Fahrenheit and it's hell there. So why are we even talking about this? But there's a layer up in the atmosphere about 35 miles up where there are permanent global cloud decks, and it's rather comfortable, at least in terms of temperature and pressure. It's like Earth surface conditions, and there are, potential flows of nutrients and energy and all the stuff you might need for life up there. And that's part of, this idea that I've been pushing for a while. It's like, hey, there could be a habitable zone up in the Venus atmosphere.
And could you just go up with a mirror and see if there's any fog on the mirror and then that's life form, like a dead body kind of a thing?
Well, that's the old days, yeah. Paul, how old are you? That was a 19th century way to know if someone was dead.
I'm 106 years old.
There it is, because if you fogged the mirror, that was evidence you're still alive.
Exactly.
Well, we're looking hard for techniques to go there and test this. So all suggestions are, we'll put that one in the.
Bring a mirror just in case.
You never know.
Wait. So David, I don't know if you're a betting man, but let me just ask you: what are the chances it's actually life versus a completely yet to be discovered way to make phosphine that no one has dreamt of yet?
Yeah, man.
How do you balance this? Because both are extraordinary.
Yeah.
Right? Because we think we got a good chemistry. We've been doing chemistry forever, right? We got that. So if you're a betting man, where would you put it?
Yeah, boy, it's hard to put a number on it. There's a third likely possibility, which is that maybe the observation is wrong, and it's very difficult inference. And to me, it seems as though it's very solid work, the way they've described it. But people are going to be looking really hard and trying to repeat the observation. And maybe the phosphine will go away because it'll say, oh, well, actually, it's something else, or it was a mistake. But let's assume that there really is phosphine there. What are the chances it's life? So people keep asking me that. It's so hard to put a number on it. So yesterday on Facebook, I said, I'm going to say 5%, but I'll probably change my mind tomorrow. And, I reserve the right to have a very fluid opinion of this because we just don't know. And of course you have to, you know, our friend Carl Sagan, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And if there was ever a place where this applied, you know, we need better evidence, much more evidence, before we say, oh, life. But this is a legitimate mystery that has a legitimate, you know, logical path to infer that it could be life. And, you know, whether that's 1% or 10%, I don't know. But it's, you know, it's less than 50%. It's more likely that it's something else. But it's not zero that it's life. That in itself is a pretty exciting thing to realize.
And just for people to recognize, when you have results that are interesting and unexpected, that they naturally attract more scientific scrutiny to see if it's correct. So that's a very natural urge that we all have. In fact, Paul, it's a problem if you get a result that's not particularly interesting and wrong. Very few people will find out that it's wrong because they don't care. So the verification process is not a level playing field, unfortunately.
Right. If you make a really interesting mistake, then everybody's going to know about it.
All right, so what else you got, Paul?
Move on? Okay. Philip Lyons, Patreon. My question is simple. When can we get a sample and bring it back to Earth to be studied? I think you can get it on Amazon. You gotta be a Prime member.
And they deliver tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's actually
I'm sure somebody's selling them on eBay right now, but I wouldn't, you know, give it a lot of, you know, credence.
But that does leave the question, like what I was thinking is sort of is this a parallel track issue of you make this discovery, but then you also have to create or invent a way to kind of confirm this or sort of get to the next level with this. So do you have to develop processes and techniques at the same time?
No, very much. We need follow-up experiments. I mean, first of all, just on Earth in labs, people are going to be going crazy saying, well, let's mix phosphine in a Venus-like environment and put this and that. And can we do it? What else can we make it? Just here on Earth, trying to simulate it. But you can be sure that we are going to be sending, I mean, some of us have been trying to send new missions to Venus anyways, and there's momentum. And I think this is going to be happening. Even, I would have said that even before this discovery, but now there's that much more incentive. We've got to go there and understand what's going on there. Now, bringing back a sample would not be the next step. That's a hard thing to do. You know, it's hard enough to bring back a rock from Mars, which we've been trying for a long time, and we're still trying, and there's something in the works, but it's not very easy. But an atmospheric sample from you know, think about it. You're going to enter into the atmosphere, you're going to scoop something up, and then you're going to launch not from a surface, but from an aerial platform. And it's inherently harder to get something off Venus than Mars because it's a bigger planet with more escape gravity, or you know, with more gravity, higher escape velocity. So that probably will be done eventually. But the next step is actually to just go there and do experiments in place, bring the right scientific instruments into the atmosphere and the clouds to investigate and send the data back rather than trying to bring a sample back. And
David, you're not talking about rovers because this is 35 miles up in the atmosphere, so you need some kind of floater.
Yeah. I mean, even, you know, the easiest thing to do is just drop an entry probe and you're briefly traveling through that environment and you take measurements on the way down. That's been done, but not in the 21st century with modern instrumentation. And that you can still learn a lot, even with a quick trip through with the right instrument sending back data. But then, as you say, Neil, it would be even better to bring a platform where you could reside in the clouds for a while, either a balloon or some kind of a solar-powered glider. There are plans and ideas to do this, and I think, you know, a balloon would be great because then you could actually spend some time and sample more than one location and, you know, really look around and get to know the environment a little bit rather than just flying through it.
Mm-hmm. I have a quick question related to this. So if the heat weren't the issue, is pressure on the surface also an issue here because it's 90 times that of Earth? So you have to grapple with that at the same time as the heat issue in terms of trying to find a sample, right?
Paul's showing off that he did his homework before.
No, I have my 6th grade science teacher sitting off to the side right here, and he's signing me.
Well, it's got 90 times Earth pressure.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean that's yet another reason why the surface environment is a you know, a very challenging environment, both for life to survive and for our machines to survive if we want to go investigate it. we should. I mean, the mystery of Venus, even if we're talking about a mystery up in the clouds, it's related to surface processes because, I mean, one of the things that makes Venus such an interesting planet is that it seems to have an active surface, and that's connected to the chemistry of the clouds. There are
active, you mean geologically active?
Yeah, geologically active, and that seems to include active volcanoes, which is really important for this story. Although, you know, I say seems to include, we've got a lot of circumstantial evidence. We don't have what they call the smoking gun, where we've seen a volcano going off, but there are clues in the atmosphere and on the
smoking
surface.
Volcano.
Yes, exactly, the smoking caldera. We don't have that, but we see things in the atmosphere and patterns on the surface that make the most sense if there is active volcanism. So we think there probably is on Venus, but we want to confirm that. But it's important to this story because it's probable that the chemistry, whatever's going on in the clouds, has to do with gases that are coming out of the circle and cycling through the atmosphere and then reacting with surface rocks. So just as on Earth we talk about the carbon cycle and these different chemical cycles, on Venus there's a sulfur cycle and probably other sulfur cycles involving the clouds in the atmosphere and the surface. So if we want to understand what's going on in the atmosphere, ultimately we do have to investigate the surface. But you wouldn't need a rover or something like that to do a dedicated mission just to look at what's going on up in the clouds.
So if there's a sulfur cycle, that's where you get, I've always read that Venus has sulfuric acid droplets in the upper atmosphere, and I always wondered, you know, how they get there? Why don't we have some of that? And so it's got a sulfur cycle, huh?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, we do have some of that. And when there's a big volcanic eruption on Earth, and you get those colorful sunsets, and sometimes there's even a temporary cooling because that stuff spreads through the stratosphere, that actually mostly sulfuric acid droplets that you get a little bit of temporarily on Earth. But on Venus, of course, the clouds are almost all sulfuric acid, and we believe that is related to volcanic flow from the surface. Again, this is something we want to verify with more investigations and missions, but calculations that actually, which I did with my research team several years ago, where we tried to look at the lifetime of the cloud particles, we actually believe that the clouds would go away in about 10 million years or maybe 30 million years if they weren't continually fueled by a flow of sulfuric gases from the surface. Which, if that's true, it's pretty cool because it means that when you go out at night and you observe Venus with your naked eyes and you see how beautiful and bright it is, you're actually observing the effect of volcanoes on the surface, because the reason why Venus is so cloudy and so bright, and you can see that on any given evening or morning when Venus is in the right place, that is connected, we believe, to an ongoing existence of volcanoes. So you can verify that with your senses.
Is there anything here on Earth like sulfur springs that we use or can use to advance our knowledge to work in this capacity in the context of Venus and phosphine and all of that?
We gotta get to that answer after this break.
Curio wants to know if your sulfur creatures in hot springs on Earth when Star Trek was
in. All right, I'm hungry. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Got a good bit done working on this shirt. I'm trying to add a little more details to it. I might finish this piece today or tomorrow.